In limbo?
Dad.
Sleepless.
That was several family members of Christina Bastian trying to explain what they're going through with her disappearance. They use few words, but those words certainly carry a lot of weight. They've been dealing with this for 7 years at this point. She went missing just after Halloween over the early morning hours of November 1st back in 2015. It's time that they had some help. It's time to turn on the searchlight for Christina Bastian. Welcome back to Brainscratch Searchlight. I'm John Lorden. Thank you so much for caring about these cases like I do. Let's go ahead and jump right in, starting with a post from the Help Find Christina Bastian Facebook page. Her mom posts to this page pretty frequently. This is a post from back on Halloween of 2017. I hate this day because it's the day that my daughter disappeared. It's been 2 very, very long years. I think of Christina every single day. Please, someone has seen her or knows where she is. She might be your neighbor. She might be your coworker. She might even use a different name, but she's my daughter. Please, take a picture of her and post it on this site, and I'll get back to you. It's been 2 years, and I miss her more than I can even put in words. Thank you for your help. Please share. And that's what we're looking to get started here today. Hopefully you guys are going to help me raise exposure to this case by sharing this video. In California in particular is probably a good start, but honestly, possibly Arizona, possibly Nevada. I would think maybe more on the West Coast, but let's see what we can learn as we get into the details here of this disappearance. Christina Lynn Bastian was born on July 8th, 1981 to her mother, Cheryl Denny. About 10 years before her disappearance, Bastian was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. In the summer of 2015, she decided to get off her medication with the approval of her physician and family, as she had gained considerable weight from that particular medication and it raised her cholesterol levels. For a few months, Bastian remained stable and thought that God had healed her. As a devout Christian, she also considered being off the medication as sort of a test of faith. Bastian worked at Silverado High School in Victorville, California. She was a recent college graduate and was teaching her first year as a 9th and 10th grade English teacher. Bastian lived in an apartment on Laguna Road in Apple Valley, California, near her mother and 4 younger sisters. She was saving to buy a home while finishing classes towards her master's degree. She enjoyed writing fictional stories and was a strong Christian believer. And you might find that here at the Disappeared blog, they're kind of hitting a little bit of a tint of past tense. Quite honestly, with a case of this nature, I think there's a very good chance that Christina is out there, especially when we get into some of the details and conversations that she had with some people leading up to her disappearance. But let's start by learning where this all takes place over at Wikipedia. Apple Valley is an incorporated town in the Victor Valley of San Bernardino County in the U.S. state of California. If you've ever gone driving either into Southern California, pretty much like from Vegas or something, or out of Southern California, there's a very good chance that you've passed through some towns near this, like we mentioned, Victorville. The town is east of and adjoining to the neighboring cities of Victorville and Hesperia, 35 miles south of Barstow, another place that's very well known for that travel kind of through the desert, which is one of the issues I'm kind of concerned about in terms of looking at all of this. Just we're going to find some traces of her, and they're in areas that there's not a whole lot else around, and search efforts don't seem to be successful. Of course, she's going to go missing, and a couple of very important items with her, including her pet, go missing. Let's learn what happens starting here at z1077fm.com. The sheriff is asking for help in finding an Apple Valley woman who has been missing since Halloween night. Investigators say Christina Bastian, 34 years old, attended church with her family on October 31st and then went to a friend's house where she was last seen leaving at 1:45 a.m. November 1st with her small dog. And there we have another photo of Christina. I'm running many photos of her down below, and you're going to notice her look can vary very significantly depending on what she's doing with her hair. Of course, we've also talked about the fact that her medication had added some weight. Of course, she's probably not on that medication at this point, so a lot of different possibilities down here. So I'm running as many photos down below as I can. Here on the screen right now, though, we're also seeing a photo of her dog, Coco. Continuing at NamUs, let's get some of the basic details of this case down here. Christina Lynn Bastian, a white Caucasian female. Date of last contact, they're noting, is October 31st, 2015. Like I mentioned, it seems like her friend actually saw her the night or the morning, early morning hours of November 1st when she left. She would currently be 41 years old. She stands at about 5 feet 6 inches tall, and here for her weight, they have it around 170. Let's see. For circumstances, we're going to get into some of them, but one particular thing I wanted to call out here. Later that day, the California Highway Patrol located some of her property on the roadway near Highway 247 and Bodick Road in Johnson Valley. Still that same day, this is much later that day, deputies found her new pickup truck near Valley View Road and 29 Palms Highway. Christina and Coco have not been seen since. So as we mentioned, her apartment was on Laguna Road. We can see that back here near the Apple Valley and Victorville area. The items that were found in the road were found here on 247 near Bodick Road. And then her vehicle eventually found out here. This total distance is about 76 miles from her home to the last spot where her vehicle is. And this thing about the items being found in this particular area, pretty bizarre, makes me worry about some type of interaction that might have happened if someone else is a part of this story. I'm not necessarily sure that's the case. It's just something I'm concerned about because several of her personal items are found in this area, and we'll get more detail about that. Let's see what else. They're noting her hair color at the time that she disappeared was blonde, strawberry blonde. It had also been dyed red and cut in an A-line bob, as you can see in the photo that they're using here. Brown eyes. For piercing both ears, and she also has piercings in her ear cartilage. She has a scar on her thumb, and her right eyebrow has a scar from a previous piercing. She has a tattoo, a large, colorful cherry blossom with a Chinese symbol for love in the center of it, and we actually have a photo of that tattoo here. It looks like it's on the inside of her left ankle. Continuing at NBC News, very interesting point here about her truck. That same evening, her Dodge Ram pickup truck, purchased the week prior, was found abandoned. From what I understand, it was a silver Dodge Ram 1500, but she had only owned it for about a week. And when they found it, the truck had scratches and dents on both sides, as if it had been driven over rough desert terrain, officials say. Other details, it's been a hard few weeks for the 34-year-old, her mother said. A car accident that left Christina's previous vehicle totaled, the 2-year anniversary of her grandmother's death, and several other factors had taken their toll. The culmination of it all, her mother says, led to the bizarre events leading up to Christina's disappearance. As if that wasn't enough, we get a very troubling occurrence the week before she went missing, and I think it was just a matter of days, like maybe 3-4 days. She believed her apartment had been broken into. Her paranoia increased, her family says, and she ran over her cell phone with her car. On the 31st, her mother Cheryl says she got a call from Christina telling her that she was safe in Phoenix, several hours away. So it seems like there was some form of attempted break-in. I'm seeing it written up different according to the different articles. This is the only one that kind of makes it sound like there's a possibility that she believed that the apartment was broken into, as opposed to there was actually an attempted break-in. Most of the other articles I'm seeing are kind of writing it that way, where it seems like someone was, for some reason, trying to get into where she lives. That completely freaked her out. And then we have this instance where she's literally driving to Phoenix. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of miles from where she lives. And then literally on the same day, she winds up back in town at the church that her mother works at. Pretty confused by all the motion around this, but it seemed clear that she was trying to be safe, left and then came back to be close with her family again. Christina reportedly resurfaced that afternoon at a Halloween church event back in Apple Valley, where her mother is a pastor. That's a lot of driving to happen all in one day, and I don't know. I'm not seeing anything about there being any one part of that, her offering a ride to someone, her going to visit someone out there. I have no additional details about why she would have gone to that particular area. Continuing at VVNG, who has done some really good reporting on this. Her mother, Cheryl Denny, believes the attempted break-in sparked what she felt was abnormal behavior in her daughter, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder about 10 years ago. Quote, after the break-in, it was like it sent her into an episode causing her to become increasingly paranoid, said her mother. She took a few days off of work, but she planned to return this week. Denny, the senior pastor at Apple Valley Faith Center, said she last saw her daughter on October 31st at the Church Harvest Festival. She said after her daughter left, she planned on spending the night at a friend's house. Her friend called Denny, her mother, at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, November 1st, saying that Bastian had left her home. Once again, I'm not finding any details. The way I'm seeing this written up, in some places, they're saying that for some reason, Christina got upset at the friend's house and then wound up leaving. Bastian had her vehicle loaded with things that she had went back to her apartment for the previous day, and she also had her white and tan colored Maltipoo with her. The belongings she had with her were located strewn along Highway 247, so that's the first location that we pointed out on that map. It included an expensive electric guitar, an amp, photos, checks, artwork, her cell phone, all kinds of other personal belongings, kind of thrown out along the highway. Her driver's license, credit cards, and eyeglasses are not with her. Her mother said she has very poor vision, but she only has the contacts that she left wearing. Quote, without her glasses, she can only see about 6 inches in front of her. Now, I'm curious, even thinking about these items that are being thrown all over the road, if this was a situation where we were worried that, someone was trying to steal her things, obviously an expensive electric guitar, an amp, there's a few items here that have pretty immediate value. Her cell phone, they're probably not going to be thrown out of a vehicle. What I'm also thinking about is, how are those items being thrown out of the vehicle? I'm curious about the cluster of them. Like, did it look like she was literally driving down the road while she's taking some of these things and throwing them out the window? I mean, handling an electric guitar with one arm while you're driving with the other, not the easiest thing to do. So I don't know if this is a situation where she stopped at a particular place, took a bunch of her stuff out, threw it out of the vehicle, got back in and took off. Or, they're kind of making it sound like they're saying that these items were located strewn along the highway. Sounds like they might have been kind of thrown out while she was driving. Continuing with another article by VVNG, over a week has passed and the family are growing more concerned. As the family was eagerly awaiting any additional clues as to the whereabouts of their loved one, a backpack belonging to Bastian was located 1 mile north of Bear Valley Road. So now we have another personal item in a bit of a different area. We'll pull up the map in a moment to look at that. Denny said that the backpack contained pictures, medication, bills, and other personal items belonging to her missing daughter. As a matter of fact, it seems like the person that found the backpack had so much information in there, they found a phone number and wound up calling her mother and asking for her. They were trying to get the backpack back to its owner. Additional items were also located in the same general area, including other personal belongings that Bastian had with her before her disappearance. This discovery, according to Denny, caused deputies to conduct a canine and aerial search in that area. So this new location, much closer to her home, and it's making a straight path. It really looks like there's some intent of her to head in this particular direction. But why are her personal items being thrown around here? One of her family members actually might have some insight that could be a little bit of an emotional justification for that. We'll get to that. I found another article that said these items were actually found on Chipmunk Road. That's why I've marked that here. That is, I'm kind of guessing at about a mile north of Bear Valley Road, but that's the description in other articles. So it does look like she got off of this path for a little bit, drove up a ways for some reason, throws her backpack and some other personal items out of the vehicle here, and then gets back onto Highway 18, which pretty easily leads you to 247. And if we continue on that, we get to the next location where a bunch more of her personal items are found. I haven't seen any results of the deputies' search. I don't know if maybe they would have found more personal items out there. I'm sure if it was something substantial that it would have come in through a report, but I'm not seeing that. We do see 2 weeks after her disappearance that a search is planned. An Apple Valley woman is reaching out to area horseback riders that can assist in a search for missing Silverado High School teacher Christina Bastian. Few clues have surfaced. No new information came in, leaving Bastian's family to wonder where their loved one could be without any of her belongings. I mean, think about that. If she is running away to start a new life or something like that, she's throwing out things that you think would need to be part of that, and then possibly gets to the point where she even ditches her vehicle. Now, that might not be totally out of the realm of possibility, thinking that, okay, she's only owned this vehicle for a week. I don't know if she had a payment on it, but it might not have been feasible for her to really carry on with that vehicle if this is a case of an adult that is looking to disappear. And maybe that was part of the justification in terms of, dropping off her items and just getting rid of them. So this is more of a volunteer effort that is being mounted at this point. And they're noting that those able to go on horseback or on foot search are asked to meet at the corner of Bear Valley Road and Central Avenue. So they're trying to get to that location where some of her things were found. And they did that on Saturday, November 14th. Again, no real follow-up on this. I don't believe anything substantial was found, at least that has been reported. Thankfully, something substantial is found. And in a way, this might have been a great hope for the family, because if you could find Coco, maybe Coco could get you back to Christina. Here at NBCnews.com, Christina Bastian's dog located. Teacher remains missing. The small white and tan Maltipoo, Coco, was found back on November 1st along Highway 18 near the intersection of Bear Valley Road, nearly 70 miles away from where Bastian's truck was found abandoned several weeks ago, and only a few miles from where Christina was last seen, according to the Bastian family. Coco was found back on November 1st. And I know many of you at this point are thinking, well, why did this go so long? Like the family's finding out about this almost a month later. It's because of another caring person. There's been a lot of really good people on the periphery of this story, people that are just trying to be helpful. Someone finds a backpack, they try to get it back to the owner. Someone finds Coco and does the same thing. A driver spotted and picked up Coco, then ran an ad with a photo on a webpage for missing animals. A friend of Christina's mother spotted the post. We've got so many helpful hands in this. The dog is reportedly in good health and will be staying with the woman who found her for now. Christina's family believes it's the best place for the dog to be at this time, as they're consumed by looking for Christina. So they're saying Coco was actually found along Highway 18 near the intersection of Bear Valley Road, actually pretty close to where the backpack was found. Backpack found over here on Chipmunk Road. The description they're giving us about Coco is just in this area of Bear Valley Road, close to the 18. And I've seen other descriptions that mention close to this area known as Dead Man's Point. So somewhere in this cluster is where Coco is found. The family basically leave Coco with the person that found her so that they can continue their search efforts. According to Cheryl Denny, Christina's mother, someone recently reported seeing a woman resembling Christina on the evening of November 2nd, the Monday after she vanished. This sighting was along Quinault Road in Apple Valley. However, that sighting has not been confirmed. I've got that marked on the map also. This sighting would actually pull her back into kind of the neighborhood area. And I don't know. Anything's possible here. if she dropped off some items here, drove all this way out. I mean, I guess there's the possibility that she didn't drive her vehicle from here. What if, someone comes across a vehicle, maybe the keys were left in it, they take the vehicle and start driving. But once again, I'm having trouble with that thought that along the way they're going to have these items of value and they're just going to pitch them out the window, go joyriding this. I mean, the vehicle, the way that they're describing it being found, it does sound possible that someone would have gone joyriding out in the desert and that's how it got all that damage. I don't know that she would have done that necessarily, but I don't know that she wouldn't have. There's just so many questions in this case. But a sighting on November 2nd, kind of back in this other direction, when there just seems to be all this clear movement going south and east. I don't know. Certainly something worth looking into. And this is one of those cases where there's a lot of sightings that have to be checked out. Continuing at VB Daily Press, missing teacher maybe in Yucca Valley. We're continuing into some of these sightings now. Approximately 2 months after a local teacher was last seen in Apple Valley, family members said she may have recently been spotted in the Yucca Valley area. Her mother told the Daily Press that she received some calls and emails a few days ago from people in the Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree area who all said they had seen Bastian in various businesses along Highway 62 near the Vaughn Shopping Center. A few of them urged Denny to search for Bastian at a homeless camp behind Sam's Market in Joshua Tree, her mother said. The thing about those particular areas, Joshua Tree and Yucca Valley, these are locations along this path of travel that the truck took. Actually, the truck seems to go farther than those areas by the time that it's found. So that might lead some support to the possibility of her being in this area. Something else I noticed about this path, it seems to be one that she has driven very recently before. If you continue going in this eastern direction, you're going to run right into Phoenix, Arizona. We know that she was out there on October 31st. So it seems like on that night, she's kind of doing the same drive again, but I don't know if something happens or if she changes her mind along the way. But this is where these more recent sightings kind of are. And from what I can see on the Facebook page, it looks like there's just kind of a constant pulse in this Yucca Valley area of, oh, there's someone else that thinks they might have seen her, someone else that thinks they might have seen her. Back to a quote from her mother, "It's frustrating to know she's here, but I can't find her. People have said that she's thinner, same smile, homeless, a bit unstable, and panhandling. My heart is breaking. I just want her to be warm and safe." The family has continued to search for Bastian with the help of San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department officials, a missing persons advocate who works with the family, and the reach of social media. I know for a while they also had a private investigator, but the private investigator was not able to find her. A Facebook page created by Bastian's mother, Help Find Christina Bastian, has over 1,250 likes and is constantly updated with new posts, photos, and the latest on the case. Of course, as always, I'm going to have a link to that in the description box down below. If you could, just please take a moment. If nothing else, show her some support. Go there, click the like button. If you have a little more time, maybe write a post. Just let her mother know that there's people out here that are looking and that care about Christina and what her family is going through in all this. I know you'd be surprised. One little message like that could mean the world to someone. I've heard it regularly from people that we've tried to help here on the channel. If you see Christina, please call your local police, but do not approach her or scare her off, says her mother. This is one of those situations where we don't know what could be happening with her mental state. Pictures. Grab that cell phone, take a picture. Maybe call the local authorities while you're keeping her in your sights. Just make sure you don't lose her. See if you can get someone out there and try to get them to do the confirmation. Of course, we've also got the Facebook page. So if you do happen to get some of those photos, send them into the Facebook page. Let her family take a look at them and see if that can be helpful. I know that other people have been doing that. Every one of those things, it's kind of like a lottery ticket. It's a chance. It's a chance that one of those pictures might have the information that could be helpful, that can help this family get reunited with Christina. Her mother has some thoughts on what she thinks Christina might be doing over at another article on BBNG. She may be staying in a cheap motel and riding the bus to get around. She may be panhandling or doing odd jobs since she's without her license, credit cards, and bank cards. Just some other thoughts in terms of possible places to look at. Here is a post from the Help Find Christina Bastian Facebook page from May 25th, 2018. We spent the day looking for Christina in Yucca. One homeless man was sure he had seen her in the area. The manager of an AM/PM said that there's a lady who goes from pump to pump asking for a handout about every 2 weeks, and she was there Wednesday. The woman who called us said the woman came up to her car asking for money, and she said her name was Christina, and she's homeless. We did not find her today, but we will. Thank you for keeping an eye out for my daughter. Just another one of these instances, another one of these chances, and we can see the family is doing everything they can. They're going out there time and time again looking for her. And that's confirmed at this article. The multiple sightings, although unconfirmed by authorities, have prompted Denny and her family to head down to the area at least once a week to search for Bastian. Denny and one of Bastian's sisters, Susanna, went to several businesses in Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, and 29 Palms in the hopes that someone may have more information on Bastian's whereabouts. There are birthdays passing, holidays passing. Her sister Julie is now pregnant, and Christina doesn't know, her mother told the Daily Press. We are all a very close family. Christina and I used to talk every day. We talked about everything. Denny said she believes her daughter had become overwhelmed with the realities of her life. She had lots of debt from student loans. She was single. Her job was very tough. Teaching can be very tough, especially in the first few years. Her mother used to be a teacher herself before becoming the pastor for the Apple Valley Faith Center. I think she felt trapped. I could feel that anxiety that she felt. In the days before her disappearance, Denny said her daughter exhibited strange behavior and attempted to reach out to longtime friends and family. She had a conversation with one of her brothers-in-law the day before she went missing. That conversation had some interesting points in it. One of the things that she said to him was that she didn't want to be Christina Bastian anymore. So knowing that frame of mind, thinking about the possibility that she's driving away from her home, from her family. She gets rid of this backpack that has a bunch of her personal effects. She starts taking all those items that were important to her in the home, and she's getting rid of them along this drive, and then she ditches the vehicle altogether. That kind of seems to line up with this information that the brother-in-law heard. On top of that, we find out that Halloween has another meaning to this family. A quote from her mother: Halloween was the 2-year anniversary of her grandmother's death. Christina went to our church and talked to my son-in-law, Chris. She told him she didn't want to be Christina Bastian anymore. She said she wanted to disappear. Her mother did an interview with the Daily Press at the 1-year anniversary. I'm pretty sure a lot of the sentiment still holds true today. Mother of missing Apple Valley woman clings to hope and prays for closure. We're still hoping that Christina comes walking through the doors, or that we'll find where she's living, said her mother. I just want to know whether she's on this earth or living in heaven with Jesus. My faith in Jesus Christ is the only thing that keeps me together, her mother said. I have my moments when my mind just goes blank, and I have to ask God to fill in the blanks. I don't know how people who don't have Jesus make it. Denny said during last year's harvest party on October 31st, Bastian was overheard talking with her brother-in-law, Chris, asking him to what lengths her loved ones would go to find her if she just disappeared. So the more insight we're getting in this conversation, the more it seems like this was an effort on her part to really leave her life behind. Denny said that over the years, she's received several sparks of hope when people said they've sighted her daughter in Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, Oregon, and several locations across the country. With every lead, every tip, and every report, we've hit a dead end, her mother said. The Bible is right when it says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And I'm sure that that's compounded 7 times at this point. As a matter of fact, here's a post from Facebook, once again from the Help Find Christina Bastian page. This one just from last month. Next month marks 7 years since Christina went missing, and I miss her every day. Have you seen her? If you could, just please take a moment, think, Do you have any friends in this area? I mean, we're now hearing Oregon. We definitely know Southern California, possibly Arizona. Anyone that you can share this video with, help us raise exposure to this case. There's not a ton of information about this case on YouTube. Now there is, but I need your help to get it out there so that people can see it. Maybe they have some piece of this puzzle, and get that piece of the puzzle back into the people who can actually act on it and maybe get this family reunited and back together. Once again, in the links below, we will also have the Facebook page. Please just give it a like, send a message if you can, let them know that there's other people standing behind them in this search. I also have a link to a Web Sleuths thread. It's got several pages. Pretty much all of the detail in it we've covered here today. But if you want to talk to another very caring group about cases of this nature, Web Sleuths always a great place for that. Where is Christina Bastian? How long is this going to go? Can this family get pulled back together? Possibly, can Christina get another shot at resetting her life? I really hope so. 7 years is a long time to be wondering where your loved one is. And of course, if you were in that situation, would you be looking for help? I know I would. Thank you guys so much for being part of this amazing community here. I really appreciate each and every one of you out there. I hope you have a wonderful, happy, fun, and safe Halloween. And please rejoin us on the channel next week, right here on the Lord and Arts channel.